Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Zaron, you know it's ridiculous.
Elizabeth, I do. Did you know that Tsarist Russia was on a totally different calendar than the rest of the world? They were still on the old Julian calendar. Interesting, I thought, because of Tsar being Caesar. So they're like, yeah, give it up on that calendar. And then they had a little problem because in the 1908 Olympics, they showed up 12 days late. They're like, oops. So then, luckily, the Communist Revolution came along about 10, 11 years later. And then, boom, the Bolsheviks were like, yo, come on, man. They got them right back on the Gregorian, not right back, added them to the Gregorian calendar, and they became the modern state of the Soviet Union.
That's beautiful.
Right? Yeah.
And it's a little bit ridiculous to show up late.
But 12 days late?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
I just love that.
That's not fashionably late.
Yeah, no. So they were just completely in their own world, 12 days behind the rest of the world.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
I might do that.
I was totally jealous.
I'm going to go back to the Julian calendar.
Yeah, I was like, how can I be 12 days late on the rest of the world?
Easy. Just do it.
Yeah, I'm already 9 days late?
Well, so that's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Something else that's ridiculous is going from importing knickknacks and crafting supplies to smuggling ill-gotten Mesopotamian artifacts.
You said Mesopotamian artifacts?
Sure did.
I'm going to need some explanation of that.
I got it for you. This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It is always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous. So, Zaron, what are your hobbies? Give me your top 5 hobbies.
Top 5 hobbies. Well, I've got that feud with gravity.
That's one.
The fantasy football. Mountain biking. Let's see. Probably coming up with names for Canadians. And lastly, theoretical physics.
And you're not joking when you say that.
No, those are all real. Even my nicknames for Canadians.
That is true. So, those are good hobbies.
Thank you. I like to keep busy.
So the physics thing.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do I do? I read a lot of stuff online. I watch a lot of videos for the MIT. Right now I'm watching the whole theoretical physics class on MIT's open course catalog. So I'm on lecture 11 of the semester. So then I just basically go to MIT online and watch their stuff, and then I go and I do the math and I figure out the Lagrangian, and I figure out the Hamiltonians. I do all the stuff that they're doing, and then I just have to occasionally check in online about how to do it. So it's a lot of me basically checking math against me watching videos. So yeah.
And computations.
Lots of computations and lots of little drawings, because I do math through drawings because of pi being, part of a circle. So I use lots of circles to do the math.
I do math by just not doing it.
That's another good way. It's the faster, more efficient way. Mathematicians would appreciate that.
I failed calculus twice in college.
I never took it. I've taught myself all the calculus. So I'm now up to linear geometry.
Wow.
Yeah, well, whatever.
That's wow-worthy.
No, it's not. It's just books.
My hobbies are kind of lame compared to, insulting Canadians and computations.
Who said insulting? Some of them are honorifics. You don't know that they're insults. I like Canadians. I'm a big fan of the Great White North.
Do you call double denim the Canadian tuxedo?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I like that.
Better than the Tennessee tuxedo. I don't think they've earned that right.
Oh, that's
would
be
another
double
nickname.
denim?
Yeah, a lot of the double denim, they have the alliteration of Tennessee tuxedo carries through, so you'll hear people use that.
Good to know. I'm going to add that to my repertoire.
Or Alberta formal wear.
Oh, dear.
I told you, I love Canada.
Preemptively apologize to Canadians.
Well, Canada feels my love.
Well, so let's go back to hobbies.
All right, yes.
So,
what are your hobbies, by the way?
I like to garden. I like baking. I used to make soap and bath bombs.
Oh, word.
Yeah, lye soap and all that. I've just gotten into paint by numbers.
Okay. How you liking that?
My eyes don't like it.
Oh, because
it's so tiny.
Yeah.
But I'm into it.
When it says paint by numbers, is it literally numbers?
Yeah, it's literally numbers.
Word.
But they're very small.
Yeah, do you have to get the magnifying glass out? Oh, that's a 17.
Yeah. And then I squint and then my head hurts.
It's a great hobby.
I also like felting.
What is felting? I don't know that one.
It's where you use felt to make
Oh, you use a layer of felt.
felting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I thought it was
you get
something
like
else.
a big like puff of felt, and then you get these insanely sharp needles that some of us poke ourselves with.
Ah, yes. I would be in that group.
By accident, on accident, accidentally.
There you go.
But yeah, you can combine it with soap making and make like felt coverings for soaps.
Oh,
little scrubberoos.
Look at you. You're over here like doing like a whole little industry while I'm just making a mess of paper and pen.
Completely. Yeah, it's like side hustles that don't go anywhere. Although I made a cat out of felt for my nephew.
Oh, that's cool.
So that his little firefighter toys could rescue the cat in the tree. But he always says the cat's on fire.
Does he save the cat by putting the fire out?
Sure, but I got to felt some fire on the cat now. Got to make it accurate.
I like your commitment to the bit, though.
So, like, well, you have these hobbies that are really high level. The rest of us who have hobbies got to find like a supply store for those.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
totally.
Yeah.
Like Michael's, yeah.
Completely. And so, like, my supplies, I get them like at, craft stores. Michael's is the big dog of arts and craft stores.
I was just there. I was really hard not to spend like hundreds of dollars. And I'm not even a craft person. But I like the stuff. I like to do stuff. And you walk in, I can't imagine if you actually are a craft person, how you walk out of there with any of your paychecks.
Some good stuff up in there.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So the other big national chain, Hobby Lobby.
Yes, I've heard of this one. I haven't actually been to that one, though.
I've not seen any I know they're all over the country.
Yeah,
I saw them a lot in the South.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, when traveling, I see them.
Yeah. And so Michael's has like 1,200 locations.
Oh, damn.
Like I said, they're the big dog.
Damn, I forget how much people, they love crafting, and you got to supply that, so you're not going to get everything online, even because you want to sometimes see the materials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Hobby Lobby's got 900 stores.
Okay.
So, it's
they're the medium
up there.
dog.
And so, you may have heard of Hobby Lobby, aside from like, even if you've never been inside one, because they kind of court controversy.
Yeah, some Christian stuff, if I remember.
Yeah, sure. they didn't want to give access to birth control to their employees after it was mandated by the Affordable Care Act.
Just like Christ wouldn't.
Sure. And then they also they sell, aside from like crafts and stuff, there's a lot of like home decor things at Hobby Lobby.
The candlesticks and stuff like that?
Yeah, candlesticks and like bejeweled picture frames.
Ah, yeah.
I
wonder where those were sold.
And then holiday decorations.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Your goose that you put at the front steps that you dress in different seasonal costumes.
Oh yeah, there's like soft, sandy little geese.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I kind of want to get one.
The bags of pine cones, scented pine cones.
Totally, scented pine
those.
cones are like. Have you ever seen the Christmas brooms that smell like cinnamon and
totally.
give you a
Old
migraine?
School. Yeah.
Or is that just me?
I think that may just be you.
So they sell all these like holiday decorations, but in 2013, a shopper was like, I'm looking for some stuff for Hanukkah. Where can I find that?
Where can I get a dreidel?
And the person in the store said, yeah, we don't cater. This is a quote. We don't cater to you people.
Damn.
Yeah. So
in 2013. To someone who's Jewish, they say, we don't cater to you people.
Bad move. They also have trans bathroom issues.
Oh, I only imagine if they're saying you people, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, no birth control. They don't really care about bodies.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that it came up because there was an employee of Hobby Lobby who'd worked there for 22 years. And they transitioned and they were refused access to the women's bathroom.
Wow.
So yeah, it's this loyal employee, 22 years.
That's nuts.
Trying to make sure that all the displays are in order and, taking your migraine medicine so that the cinnamon scented brooms don't send you over the edge.
But also that manager had or most likely worked with them for, I presume, a few years. So they suddenly decide now I'm going to be more of a pain in your...
Yeah, I don't know. That was just there's a certain cruelty to that really hurt me to read.
Yeah, that's not good.
And they do a lot of the whole anti-LGBTQ
of course.
funding.
Oh yeah, they got a whole quiver of hate.
They wouldn't close at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. because they said they were an essential service. Now, as someone who loves to craft, and, during the lockdown, you have to find stuff to do, but is it really essential?
Yeah.
And again, I go back to the employees. That's a little bit dangerous for them.
Good point.
So, lots of bad action coming out of Hobby Lobby, right?
Yeah, you can see why they're number 2.
But here's the ridiculous thing I want to talk about. Antiquities. Specifically, a case that's called United States of America versus approximately 450 ancient cuneiform tablets and approximately 3,000 ancient clay bully. Now, I'm not talking about bullies, the brute,
I want to know what kind of lawyer approximately 450 ancient cuneiform tablets can afford. Are they getting good representation? Is that pro bono?
Yeah,
what's going on
it's
there?
like against the U.S. What happens is they get it was a civil case, but if we pretend it's a criminal charge, like, do you put them in a giant cell? Do they have to split up?
Bail bondsman's like, I'm not getting anything for this.
Yeah,
I'm not writing the paper on y'all.
Yeah, but when I say bully, ancient clay bully, I'm not talking about brutes. I'm not talking about bully, the type of liquid-filled blister that some people can get. I'm talking about...
Or the Teddy Roosevelt exclamation, bully, bully.
Yeah, bully that. Yeah. No, you know what I'm talking?
No.
I'm talking the seals on ancient documents.
Oh, of course. I don't know why I didn't say that. That was right on the tip of my tongue.
All right, so I want to take you back to 1200 BCE.
Okay.
Babylon. No, not the oppressive, corrupt, racial, colonial world referred to in reggae. No down pressers for Ross Trent here, people. No.
I'm sorry, the Ross Trent. That caught me.
At Jack Coldstone Creamery.
Yeah, now I got the song pumping in my head.
That's the problem with Ross Trent. If you listen to the song, you are cursed with at least 2 weeks of the song running through your head.
Are you there, Ja? It's me, Ross Trent. Just booming in between my ears.
Now we've done it.
Yeah.
Now we're both going to be okay.
Spread the gift.
No, what I'm talking about is Babylon, the ancient megacity located just south of present Baghdad, Iraq.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Babylon.
The OG Babylon.
Yeah.
Give it up.
So I want you to imagine this. Use your creative mind, your mathematical, beautiful mind, and imagine this. So there's this priest / wise man, and his name is Sinliki Anuni. And he's staring out. His name means moon god, by the way.
That's a really dope name.
Right? He's staring out at the Euphrates River from this window. He's in a large mud brick building, say.
Okay.
It's resplendent with, I don't know what with
torches.
It's with wooden brooms that smell like cinnamon. And so he's seeing boats carrying passengers and goods and carrying fish.
Fresh caught fish.
And Sin, as we'll call him, he looks down at some tablets at his feet. And he sees the boxy scrawl of cuneiform texts lining the tablets.
Okay.
It's a busy-looking piece of clay down there. He's just finished compiling the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Oh, snap.
And that is known as one of... That's a big
box.
It's like the oldest, if not one of the oldest known literary work right now. And it's the second oldest religious text around. It's second only to the ancient Egyptian funerary texts.
Wow, so it's older than the Tibetan Book of the Dead and those?
Yep, and
That's
it is
wild.
older than dirt. So what he's done, the Gilgamesh story had been around for centuries, and he's kind of remixed it. And his version...
Oh, he's not the original writer of it.
No.
He's just doing a remix?
Right. And see, Gilgamesh is a fictional character in the epic, but he's based on a real king. And anyway, so he's kind of taken it. This version that I'm talking about is the one that most modern day translations are based upon. It's the most complete version that we have.
That's cool.
So one of those tablets at his feet contains the section in the epic in which Gilgamesh tells his mom about a dream that he had. Cool, right?
Yeah, I'm into that. Dude tells his mom about his dream.
So he's this king. He is a demigod. He's like wicked strong.
Okay.
And he's also this total jerk. Like he's hella cruel to everybody. He just does terrible things. And really disrespects his people, whatever. But on this tablet, the part of it, Gilgamesh has these wild dreams. And he asks his mom what they mean. One of his dreams is about a meteor. And she's like, oh, you know what that means is you're going to have a new friend.
I'd leave it to a mother. You're going to get another little friend for you.
Honey, they're just jealous of how funny and cool you are. So yeah, you're going to get a new friend, a meteor friend. He's going to be as strong as a sky rock. And so you guys are going to bro down. She's just like, it's going to be okay. So at the same time, he's hearing about this guy, Enkidu.
Enkidu. Okay.
Who's a beast man. He's covered in hair, ready to party.
Okay.
Living in the woods.
Sounds like a friend of mine. Go on.
Gilgamesh is like, I gotta fight this guy. And Kidu's like, I gotta fight another guy.
Dude's in the woods partying in his fur.
If you're a big burly guy and you hear about another big burly guy, I'm gonna take that guy. I'm gonna just really tune this gentleman up.
Yep, I wasn't thinking about that.
And the beast man, he hears about this unruly king. He's like, I gotta go smack some sense into that fella. I gotta fight him. So they want to fight. Beastmen, scary, unpredictable. Gilgamesh, scary, unpredictable. But so he hears about this beast man, and Gilgamesh is like, I know what I got to do. I got to send a sacred prostitute out there.
As one does. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been like in a really heated beef, and I'm like, if I could only afford a sacred prostitute, this would be over.
That is my go-to problem solver. And so he gets Shamhat.
I bet he did.
And that's her name.
Oh.
It's her name. He's like, you, Shamhat, go out in the woods and bed down with Enkidu and mellow him out a little. Domesticate him. He's a bit feral.
Yeah.
She's like, aye. Runs out there. You know, they sleep together. And then after that, the animals that he's been palling around with are like, ew, I want nothing to do with you.
They're like, oh, you got the human on you?
Yeah, you've been bedding down.
You don't smell feral anymore.
Yeah, they're like, you can't sit with us. And now he's a human. So Enkidu goes back, fights Gilgamesh, but then they become best friends afterwards. And it turns out Enkidu was the meteor buddy all along.
His mother was right. Always listen to your mom.
Exactly. So that one tablet, the one with the dreams and the hairy guy doing it in the woods with a sex worker who's there on official church business. That tablet's got a long, wild ride ahead of it. Millennia go by.
Okay.
The dream tablet it's called the Gilgamesh dream tablet.
Okay.
It sits in temples. It's in storage somewhere.
Old ancient porn palaces.
Yes, exactly. 1853, it's discovered in these Assyrian ruins in northern Iraq. And after that, it goes to like universities and then museums. 1991 comes around. And it gets snatched from a museum in Iraq. Because there's a little war going on.
Exactly. I caught that one.
Yeah, right? In 2003, it shows up again in London. So I don't know what it was doing in between.
Yeah.
Hopefully no one was using it as like a coaster.
During its wandering college years.
This antiques dealer buys it from a coin dealer.
Okay. Those people are always shady.
Right, yeah. And sends it to the United States, but doesn't declare it on a formal entry form. He's just all, here's a brick, sends it. This cuneiform expert in the U.S. realizes that it's from Gilgamesh.
So wait, I don't understand how the cuneiform expert comes in. So did the antiques dealer, he goes to get it like certified?
Yeah, he buys it from the coin dealer.
He's
he
like,
sends
is this real?
He's like, let me send it home and I'll figure out there's got to be some value. It looks old.
Gotcha. He's like, how much is this worth, Bob?
How much? And then they take it. He's like, this looks like cuneiform. What is this? Is it like a receipt tablet? You know, what are we talking? Oh, It's Gilgamesh. So the dealer, he hangs on to it for like 4 more years and then he sells the tablet to someone else, but he gives a fake letter of provenance.
Oh.
And he says that it had been in a box with these old bronze fragments that he bought in 1981. And so the tablet gets sold again
So is
and
that to
bounced
obscure
around.
the coin dealer?
Yeah, he probably doesn't want anyone to know that he's been
Telling
dealing
you,
with
shady coin dealers.
Coiny McGee. And so in 2014 now, the Dream Tablet is sold for almost $1.7 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a big come up for the tablet. Who's the buyer?
Let's see. The owner of the New York Jets.
Yes, and then they started the tablet as a tight end. Yeah.
Oh, probably did.
Come on now, get your act together. It was Hobby Lobby.
Oh, I was so certain it was Woody Johnson.
The also ran of the craft world, Hobby Lobby.
What is Hobby Lobby going to do?
Well, that's what,
grind it up and sell it.
Why is a craft store shelling out that kind of serious cash on an ancient clay tablet?
Do they think they can use it for like gay conversion therapy?
They're going
Like,
to
what are they
break it
gonna do
into
with
pieces
this?
and sell, So, okay, let's stop and scratch our chins and think about this for a while we take a quick break.
All right.
So, why did Hobby Lobby buy the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet?
Because it had some ancient invocation that would make people conservative.
No, they wanted to use it as the stick in a giant lick'em stick. Dip it into sugar.
Stick it in the powder.
Yeah,
This
totally.
will hold so much sugar.
Totally. That's
I
it.
hated those
The
things.
end.
They tasted like cuneiform tablets.
Right?
They're so dry.
Totally chalk. Dip this chalk in some sugar.
Yeah, I would just lick my finger and stick it in the bag. My sister hated it. She's like, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Why? There are no rules to this."
Why don't you just lop the top off a bag of sugar and make a kid go face down into it?
I would just
What's the point?
Chop up rails.
It's like pixie sticks. Why? This is such a messed up kids thing.
Pixie sticks are one of the wildest candies. Can you imagine that pitch meeting? What is this? It's a straw full of sugar, but we added color.
And kids are all, I'm going to go pixie sticking. And they just nail them down. Yeah. What you gurping on? Pixie sticks,
son.
It's terrible.
Missing teeth.
Anywho, so why did they want the tablet? We got to go a little bit further back about this.
Oh, okay. As one often does.
Oh, of course. So we talked a little bit about their business methods earlier.
The business practices of
worldview. The place is owned by this dude named Steve Green. Mm-hmm. And he's a billionaire.
Okay.
Because a lot of people got the hobbies. And Steve's also a Southern Baptist.
Good for him.
And a Leo.
Oh, what's his rising side? I'm kidding. I don't really
yield. I don't know. I don't know any of that business. He's really into antiques.
Okay.
But not just any antiques. Mm-hmm. Bible antiques.
Ooh, fun. Like crosses for Jesus' crucifixion?
Well, I don't think it's like Catholic relics.
I forget.
But he's just like,
that.
it's kind of, it's a cool thing. Like that's his whole life, right? Mm-hmm. And so he wants to kind of collect, I don't want to say memorabilia, but it's stuff like antiques about that, historically, what have you. He's the chairman of the board at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C.
Is that like a legit thing?
Yeah, it's like this huge, this place is gigantic. I think it opened in like 2017 or something like that. Huh. In the first year, they had 1 million guests.
Well, I can see that in this country. Yeah, but I mean, the Museum of the Museum of the Bible?
Museum of the Bible.
And do they have like pieces of like an Aramaic of text and stuff? I don't even understand what
it's got mostly a lot of Bible stuff in it.
This is parchment.
Let me read you their mission statement.
Okay.
Museum of the Bible is a global, innovative educational institution whose purpose is to invite all people to engage with the transformative power of the Bible.
Okay.
That sounds like a good, it's
sure.
Your thing. Go for it. It sounds like a super cool place for Bible fans.
Yeah, and I love it for Bible fans.
Yeah. What does it have to do with Gilgamesh?
I do not know.
Well, see, Gilgamesh, old religious text, right?
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. There are so many elements in Gilgamesh that line up with events in the Hebrew Bible.
Oh, yeah, like the flood and stuff,
The
right?
flood, Garden of Eden. That proverb, a triple-stranded rope is not easily broken.
Huh, that's from Gilgamesh?
Yeah, it appears in both.
Word.
And, you find this with a lot of texts at that time. You see, like, particularly the flood pops up in a lot of early religious texts. And so, it's an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff in the Ecclesiastes that you see in Gilgamesh. Anyway.
Okay. I'm with it.
But so the museum doesn't just get down with the Bible.
How so?
They get down with all things Bible related and Bible adjacent.
So like motel, like those little bedside tables?
Gideon Bible. They have a whole room dedicated to motel bedside tables.
Just like, this is where a lot of people have found Jesus.
Did you ever hear there's like the urban legend that people travelers put $100 bill in the Gideon Bible, like pay it forward or something?
I have heard that. And I believe that people do it. It sounds like the type of things that those people
do you
would
ever
do.
flip through when you get to a hotel? Or is that just me? The first thing I do is leaf through to see if a honey falls out.
No, but I used to take the Bible. Like when I was a kid, I used to always take it. I'm like, Mom, it's a free book. And I stole the Bible. She was like, you can't steal the Bible.
Thou shalt not steal?
The Bible. So I thought that was hilarious, stealing the whole thing.
Yeah, sure. Hilarious.
I'm getting good seating in hell, all right? Front row.
So they have the Bible stuff, Bible adjacent.
Okay.
They were super stoked to get the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet and put it on display because of the connection, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just Gilgamesh that they were into. So back when Steve Green, the owner, he starts realizing how into antiquities he really is. The world opens up to him for that. People find out and they start coming to him with like all these offerings of ancient Mesopotamian items.
So he just starts getting into anything from that area.
Well, you make a couple big ticket purchases in that category, and then all these other dealers are like, "Oh,
we
got
a live one.
Listen, exactly. We got a whale here." So, and a lot of the pieces that were offered to him, we in the biz call it uncertain provenance. So basically it's stuff that's like looted during the various Gulf Wars, the assorted Gulf Wars. Some stuff is just fake. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that because it was Hobby Lobby and not a museum or a university, they didn't have experts in place and they didn't have practices to establish the.
So they're not doing like that white glove handling of the artifacts.
I suppose they were, but they just didn't have any like protocols in place to preserve, and they didn't have any protocols to like track the provenance, and catalog and all that sort of thing. So, and back in 2010, so remember it was like 2014 when they bought the tablet. 2010, Steve and his pal, they go to the United Arab Emirates. And they want to take a look at a huge shipment of rare cuneiform tablets. Okay. So they're really excited about this. They walk in to this place. They're just spread all over the floor and stacked up willy-nilly. So not the white glove treatment you were talking about. And the Israeli dealers at the meeting said the stuff came from this third dealer who just happened to not be there.
My friend, he's very busy. But
so like Bob's selling this stuff. He couldn't come. He had to go wash his car, but he wanted us to just help and facilitate.
But maybe, I don't know. He's got a big car.
I'm authorized to work on his behalf. I've got a proxy. It's cool. Don't worry about Bob. So, Steve Green doesn't care.
I'm guessing he doesn't care. Yeah.
No. He buys the whole lot, like all the stuff, 5,500 pieces.
Damn, son.
Yeah, right. And these shady dealers, they give Steve and Hobby Lobby provenance statements that said that the artifacts were totally legal, totally cool, and acquired from local markets in the 1960s.
I have a couple of those letters myself.
Yeah, right?
I just keep them around for anything I have.
Laminated.
Where is that? I'm going to get my letters.
It came from a local market in the 1960s.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
This bag of weed came from... Sorry, officer. So no one they get this letter, right? No one at Hobby Lobby follows up on that to confirm it.
Of course not.
They're just like, well, that's what the letter says. And, because I don't know, anyway.
I'd be curious if they went to try to insure the items, if the insurance company would, because they would do a due diligence.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's interesting. So anyway, Hobby Lobby's getting all this conflicting information about the stuff, and they also never met or spoke with the supposed third dealer. They're just like, whatever, Bob's in the wind. That's cool. We got the stuff. So Steve arranges for the shipment and all the rest of the stuff to be sent back to the United States. And that's in like 2011. Now, I don't know if this is when he was coming back from that UAE trip or not, but let's just pretend it was.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
In 2010, he got pinched by customs for trying to get back into the country with some undeclared goods.
Oh.
Panties. No, just kidding. It was a $1 million Bible.
Was it written in gold?
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you know that Saddam Hussein had a Quran made written in his own blood?
Oh, wow.
I swear, that's a true thing. It was on display for a long time. Now I don't know where it is. But Saddam Hussein had a whole... do you know how long the Quran is? It took pints and pints of his blood.
Is that like a fake, though? Like the Thomas Kincaid?
No, it's real. Like, at least as real as it is well documented. This is a well documented story. And it was on display.
I bet you he was draining Uday and Hussein.
Uday and Hussein's blood.
Yeah,
he's like, it's Hussein blood. Good enough.
Good enough. Close enough for government work. So he's got this $1 million Bible. He doesn't declare it.
Okay.
But anyway, aside. That's an aside. So these tablets, they're shipped back. And in order to avoid customs charges, the dealers said that the crates contained, quote, handcrafted clay tiles.
Look, I'm in the crafting business.
Kind of true.
Yeah, it is.
And they said that each package was worth about $250.
It's like calling the $1 million Bible a $1 million self-help book.
Yeah, right. Well, it is
right?
Kind of true. So customs managed to seize 5 of the 10 packages before they make it to Hobby Lobby headquarters in Oklahoma City. Which, like, what does the headquarters building look like?
Big ball of yarn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a novelty building. Steve, he's playing it fast and loose, loving it. He goes up, like, it's like the tablets, the package gets unpacked. He looks at the tablets. He like draws his pinky finger across it and then rubs the dust on his gums. And he's like, oh, that's good cuneiform.
That's that good cuneiform. You can taste
good.
This ain't been cut.
Exactly. Uncut clay tabs. So this law professor who's like has an expertise in cultural heritage gives them a warning, like puts a red siren on their head and says, this is risky. And that stuff is totes looted.
I like this one. Speaks to the truth.
Yeah, that's legalese.
Yeah, very good, strong legalese.
When you cut through the legalese, totes looted means that it was, like, in all likelihood, obtained through illegal measures.
Yes.
Green doesn't care.
No, he's like, look, I'm a billionaire.
Stevie's like, give me that good clay tab. He buys another 8,000 pieces in bulk from Iraq.
Oh, wow.
2,000 bits at a time. And there's like no paperwork attached to this stuff. So ship it out to me, man. They got big warehouses for Hobby Lobby.
The people selling it to him must have been so excited. Here,
right?
Go outside, just grab some rocks, put them in a box.
Just bags of rocks that they're sending, and they're like carving like
yeah, exactly. Just
one character into it.
Like a screwdriver and a hammer. They just got like kids knocking
we
cuts
missed
into
the
rocks.
window, taking advantage of this and making some green on it. So he the buyers are probably like never even looking at the stuff that they shell out for. They're just like, oh yeah, send me more. And eventually Steve has $30 million worth of antiquities on hand.
Steve got an antiquity problem.
He does. He's like shaking.
Yeah, he's scratching himself. When's that new tablet going to come? When's it come, man?
He has 40,000 artifacts. 40,000.
That's not enough. That's not enough.
Only 100 researchers. That's not so great, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. And who are these researchers? Are they off-duty Hobby Lobby cashiers? Those people are pretty crafty with like compiling coupons and figuring out like what the good deal is.
Yeah, sure. And then doing like overtime.
Sure, yeah. So it's like a, freelance gig on the side. Steve has really stocked this museum up. This is all for the Museum of the Bible. This isn't just like for his bedroom and Hobby Lobby headquarters.
He's got thousands of undocumented artifacts that he's going to put in a museum.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, yeah, this is about Bible times and
Why
stuff,
not?
man. It's cool.
Why
it's
not?
cool. It's old.
So the Museum of the Bible has it all. They've got ancient Bible fragments of Egyptian coffins, pieces of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh.
The Gilgamesh Dream Tablet, well, a chunk of it. And then tons of other bits and bobs.
And some rocks from Iraq.
And some rocks that some dudes sent them and were really, really excited about. They're living large. CD-ROMs, microwaves, color TVs.
Sega Genesis.
It was like Christian Pokemon up in there. Like Steve's the ultimate trainer. Gotta catch them all. Just running around, getting them all. But like some dingling playing Pokemon Go, which P.S. I love when kids want to tell me about Pokemon to keep referring to it as Pokemon.
It's not Pokemon?
I thought it was, and I found it wasn't, and then it really sets a kid off.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I love nothing more than a really irritated kid yelling at me.
My friend's father, he to this day, his online name is Duke Skyjacker, because that's what he used to call Luke Skywalker to drive my friend nuts. Yeah, the movie you love with Duke Skyjacker.
That's amazing. So, like, you know, the Pokemon Go people, they used to like stroll into traffic distractedly on this quest.
Yeah, walk off of cliffs.
Walking into Bosnian minefields.
Oh, God.
You know, this supermarket sweep of ancient treasures took a turn for the worse for Steve Green. Yeah. Okay. Let's pause for a second while advertisers get their 2 cents in. And when we come back, we're going to look at what happens when the law and revenuers and general ethics catch up with old Steve and the Hobby Lobby crew. All right. So the Museum of the Bible, brimming with artifacts, chock full. It's like overstuffed. So much clay as far as the eye can see. Things start to fall apart in 2017.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my actions.
Remember those crates seized by customs in 2011? Okay. The Department of Justice, remember they've got those. They file a civil forfeiture case.
Okay.
And that is United States of America versus approximately 450 ancient cuneiform tablets and approximately 3,000 ancient clay bully. So
yes.
Do you remember that?
I totally remember
Where
that.
were you when you heard about that?
I was sitting here making bad jokes about lawyers.
There you go. They reached a settlement and Hobby Lobby paid a fine of $3 million. Now, they got 30 million in artifacts, so they just sent him a bag of clay tablets, and like, do you take?
They're like, pick out the change.
Can I pay you in clay tablets or Bitcoin? What's your Venmo?
Yeah. Do you want maybe a bunch of wooden crates filled with some candles?
They're like, here are 3 million doll hairs. Oh, wait, never mind. So that was all. They're paying off their lack of due diligence in the acquisitions.
So basically, it's just like a stupid tax for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially.
Tax. You use that a lot, the stupid tax, the idea. Like anytime, I've noticed that you tell me anytime you forget to do something or like you let something lapse and you have to wind up paying for it.
Yeah, it's stupid tax. It's basically like the amount you're willing to pay or they're forced to pay because you chose to be stupid.
Yeah. I do a lot of stupid tax dodging.
Yes, you do. See, you're a stupid tax dodger and I am a stupid tax assessor.
So yeah, they paid the stupid tax of $3 million. Yeah. 3 million doll hairs. They also had to be under federal oversight for 18 months.
Oh, like the Oakland Police Department.
Yes. Now that you mention it. Yes. Well, it's like if they're on probation basically, but not like in the traditional sense. Anywho. So you remember that. You remember the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Oh, big fan, actually. I've talked a lot about those with friends.
You're huge into those.
I'm not even kidding. Like the Gospel of Thomas, where they got that little bit, or the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Like, and then there's the other bit where like Mary was Jesus' favorite disciple. He often would kiss her on and then there's a hole in the text right where that word is.
Where someone stubbed their cigarette out on it. They're like, oh no, not on my watch, pal. Wait, is that where the Gnostic Gospels come from?
The Gnostic Gospels are from the Essenes. They were like a sect. They were like out in the desert around that time. A lot of people have attributed the Dead Sea Scrolls to the Essenes, so that's what they usually get conflated
it's all,
together.
In the jasmine of my mind, it all kind of runs
basically
together.
they were like a really hardcore sect of like proto hippies out in the desert, and everybody thought that they probably wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So it was like ancient Burning Man.
Basically, just with a little bit more ethics.
Just a smidge. So, Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yes.
In 2018, the Museum of the Bible had to confess 5 of its 16 Dead Sea Scrolls were dead fake.
Hey, that'll get you in the Hall of Fame. 5 out of 16.
5 out of 16. And then 2 years later, March of 2020, an independent art fraud investigator had to break the bad news. Guess what, guys? All 16 of these are bogus.
I like that there was a chance that they weren't all bogus. Like when we all know.
They're like, we looked them over and like, yeah, some of these were written in English, but so there were only 5 of those. So my bad. I just, it was upside down when I first looked at it. And then, someone comes in and they're like, my bogus meter is off the charts.
It's just pinging.
And they're like,
I've never seen it act like this.
why is this on Hobby Lobby craft paper? So it turns out it wasn't even on papyrus or parchment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't even go into the stationary parchment aisle at Hobby Lobby and lift some of those. This was on Roman era boot leather.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which that's a cool artifact.
Yeah, that's what
Some
my
Roman
reaction
boots.
was like, you have Roman era boot leather and you're writing books on
Instead,
it?
you're like, hold on, let me craft this little tail. Well, and then they find out it's like modern ink. And there was like animal byproduct glue, which wasn't, the whole shebanger. It was a mess. So it's
funny
all
that
fake.
it's like they were basically buying bad craft projects.
Yeah. The irony. Hey, do you remember those ancient Bible fragments I referenced?
Do I ever?
The museum bought those from a dude named Professor Dirk Abink.
Dirk Abink. I like that. I'm going to use that name when I check into hotels. Professor Dirk Abink. Do I have any messages?
Yes, sir, you do. One of them is from Oxford. Dirk was a professor at Oxford.
Oh, word.
You'd think that's enough, right?
I don't know.
He was a MacArthur Genius Grant recipient.
Wow. I mean, his colleagues respect him too.
Genius was apparently used in the sarcastic way, like, all right, genius, because this guy not genius.
Oh.
He was one of the most celebrated classics professors in the entire world. Also a native of Nebraska.
Good state.
He should know better.
Yeah.
Straight up thief.
He was? Are you calling me that?
He was.
Oh, thank you.
He was genius. He stole 11 Bible fragments from the Papyri Project at Oxford.
Wow.
And that's this collection of literature that they recovered from this, ancient Egyptian garbage dump in 1896. They're just like dumpster diving and they're like, oh, check it out.
Oh, look, like a bestseller from the back in the day.
Fragments of the Bible. So he turns around and he sold these said fragments to Hobby Lobby.
He probably got a little update from the black market. He's like, oh, everyone's like, yeah, we got a live one. You got to get in on this. He's like, wait, I got some stuff. It's from the Bible. He crossed out the thou shalt not steal part and then sold it to Hobby Lobby. I don't know why everyone's all on that one rule.
Hung up on, they're buzzkills. Yeah. Do you remember the Egyptian coffins?
Oh, do I?
I mean, I made a brief reference.
Some of the most comfortable coffins I've ever slept in.
They're so streamlined. It turns out that those were smuggled illegally out of Egypt.
Go figure.
Wound up at the museum. After years of talks, Homeland Security and the Egyptian government convinced the museum to surrender some funeral masks.
Okay.
Pieces of coffins.
Right.
Portraits of the dead. Heads of stone statues.
Quite the collection.
Manuscripts of Christian prayers written in like Arabic and Coptic.
Oh, you got to get them both.
Yeah. Got to catch them all. And pieces of papyrus. They weren't Roman boots.
Okay.
Like the legit thing with, again, Coptic and like Greek text on them. So they had to turn that stuff over because it was illegal gains.
My papyrus.
Do you remember the Gilgamesh dream tablet?
Oh, do you have to ask?
Is it your dream? So they buy it in 2014 for $1.7 million. Hobby Lobby does. They hand it over to the museum. All that paperwork.
Completely.
Fake.
Yep.
So fake.
Could see that one coming.
Yeah. And did Hobby Lobby or did the auction house look into this matter and make sure everything was proper?
I'm guessing no.
Yeah, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Good job.
2 for 2.
Good job. In 2019, the feds took possession of the Dream Tablet.
Oh, so now the U.S. government owns the Dream Tablets, like with the Ark of the Covenant in that giant warehouse?
The head of Homeland Security wears it on a chain around his or her neck as part of the ceremonial duties of
like
office.
Flavor Flav's clock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have to like recite Gilgamesh. It's gotten really complicated. As the agency is developed and grows, these kind of things change in there.
The traditions occur.
So the feds have it. Turns out, yep, it was looted back in 91. Fear not. Early October 2021.
Mm-hmm.
The tablet was handed over to the Iraqi government at their embassy in Washington. And from there, they sent it back to the Iraqi National Museum.
They're like, hang on to this until the next war?
Yeah, until we loot it again. So there's this guy, Steve Francis. He's the Executive Associate Director of Homeland Security Investigations.
Okay.
And when do you think they're going to have a primetime TV show, Homeland Security Investigations?
I'm sure CBS is already working on it.
Yeah.
They're just trying to figure out how to bring into the NCIS family.
Or the Chicago grouping of shows. I don't know how many, I haven't watched any of those, but it seems like there are a lot of Chicago fill in the blank.
Yeah, well, they all have cities. They pick them. Like, NBC has New York, CBS has Chicago. So then they've done this traditionally. Like, they go back to these cities over and over again.
And Fox has LA with the greatest show on
LA.
television, 911.
Yeah. Very
Hello.
True. Why are we talking about anything other than 911?
Because
that's just straight ridiculous.
So Stevie Francis, yeah. Don't get me started, because then we're going to have to do a very special episode where it'll be like when you're talking to your like a grandpa who tells you about the TV shows, their stories that they're watching, and they recount plots, and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But go off. That's going to be me.
Yeah.
We're going to do an episode of me just telling everyone what happened in the last 2-3 episodes of 911.
But not really doing an episode recap per se. It's just doing kind of an episode meander. Like, there was this part. And then also you got to remember.
Yeah, I forget parts, and then I have to go back. And it's a lot of commentary about Angela Bassett's amazing, like, side-eye and sassy driving around all by herself with no part. And look, it's already started.
Yeah, I can feel it.
All right.
The water is rising. My ankles are wet.
The alarms are ringing. Okay, so Steve Francis, Exec Assoc Direct of Homeland Security Investigations. I really don't like when people do that, but I just did it. Short and whatever. Whatevs, as they say. So this is what he had to say about the return of the tablet.
Hit me with it.
I'm going to read you a quote.
Oh, I love those.
I know you do. Stealing a nation's cultural property and antiquities is one of the oldest forms of organized transnational crime. While we recognize cultural property, art, and antiquities are often assigned a dollar value in the marketplace, the meaning of these historical national treasures to the Iraqi people far surpasses any monetary value. We are proud to have helped in their recovery and return so future generations may continue to study and admire them for years to come.
Well, that's a very nice sentiment.
Yeah. So what's ironic about that last statement is that in the context of this whole thing, so if we talk about in the time of Gilgamesh, he and his people didn't, like, the actual Gilgamesh or whatever, he and his people didn't really believe in an afterlife.
Oh, no heaven or hell for them, huh?
Yeah, well, they figured when you died, you just went underground and ate clay.
Oh, like Steve Green, the guy from Hobby
Clay
Lobby.
Eater.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, who's that?
Rubbing clay on his lips.
No, I was like, did he ever get did he bury himself, like, in some sort of illusion? Did he David Blaine it for a while?
Oh yeah,
at the museum they had whatever. So they felt that when you died, there was really nothingness. And the goal was to get as much as you could get out of life while you were alive.
Okay.
So no great reward, no heaven. And that's what actually in the epic bums Gilgamesh out so much. That, when he lost Enkidu, oh, sorry for the spoiler.
Whoa. For real? You're just going to spoil the Epic of Gilgamesh like that, bro?
I know. I'm so sorry. That was really lame of me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, maybe give people a little bit of a warning.
Heads up, spoiler alert. Plug your ears. Earmuffs.
The first book ever.
Gilgamesh loses his best buddy.
Okay, go on.
And he was terrified of that, like, dusty nothingness that his good buddy was enduring.
Oh, word.
And so the second part, he goes on this quest to find the key to immortality.
Oh, right. I remember that.
We know that's not possible.
Oh, do we?
It was such a challenge. I'm like, what have you been learning in your physics? So, of course, Gilgamesh fails in this quest to find the key to immortality.
How many spoiler alerts do you need?
I'm so sorry.
Wow. I mean, I'm not going to read the book now, I guess.
I know.
Go on.
Well, I brought a tablet for you to peruse.
I know. Oh, Zaron, you had 2,000 years to catch up.
How's your cuneiform? So what he does come to realize is that he should stop being this horrible, violent person that he is. Mm-hmm. And that the way he'll be immortal is through his works. Oh. So the wonderful things that he creates and the beautiful life and the culture that he gives to others, that's how he's going to live forever. And that's how anyone can live forever and never be forgotten, just like the tablet itself.
That's neat. I like that.
Yeah.
I used to deliver a pizza for Orthodox Jewish pizza place, and I learned a lot about the Jewish culture, Jewish home life, and in particular the Jewish faith, and not just the holidays, which were cool. I love Sukkot. I'm into some of the stuff, but the thing that I found the most fascinating was the lack of any afterlife in the Jewish meta theology, right? Which was basically your reward of leading a good life is you lead a good life.
Yeah.
I just loved that.
The life itself.
Of course, heaven is my reward and heaven is the life I lead.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, this called to mind, and I can't remember off the top of my head because, I have memory issues that I think are just me being lazy brained. But aside from that, there's that Shakespearean sonnet where he's trying to woo, I would imagine that the dark lady, his love, his mistress.
The sonnet lady.
But the essential message of the sonnet, there's a section where he's talking about you're going to live forever because I'm going to write about you. And I always thought that was the most amazing kind of self-centered thing. Don't worry, baby. Everyone's going to remember you because I'm going to write about you. You're welcome. Anyway.
It's the most male writer thing ever. Totally you know what? I'm going to make you worthwhile forever.
So stealing ancient treasures. I'm going to come back around. Mm-hmm. Stealing ancient treasures like some sort of strip mall Indiana Jones, totally ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Becoming obsessed with acquiring these rarities without a care for the legality, morality of the process, ridiculous.
And American. Oh, sorry. Go on.
But a tablet from Gilgamesh living out its final moral of the story, that is ridiculously cool. And that is my ridiculous takeaway.
Well played.
What's yours?
My ridiculous takeaway, if you're going to get addicted to something that's ancient, make it something like Himalayan salt. It's much easier to get.
That's good advice.
Right? I'm thinking
that's good takeaway.
Clear-headed.
Well done.
No? Okay.
I like it. So you can find us online. Mm-hmm. You, Zaron, can find us online.
Good, because I've been wondering where we are.
At Ridiculous Crime on both Twitter and Instagram. And if you have a tip for us about ridiculous crime that you want to hear about, you want to tell us about something naughty you've done that's a little bit ridiculous, within bounds, I guess, email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. I am Elizabeth Dutton.
Yo, what's up?
And you are...
Oh, I thought you were going to say it. Oh, I'm Zaron Burnett, but don't spread that around.
Yeah, shh. Thank you for joining us.
Keep that under your hat.
Until next time. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. It is expertly produced and edited by inveterate scrapbooker Dave Kustin. Research is by aggressive quilter Marissa Brown. The theme song is by fanciful ribbon collector Thomas Lee and Fimo clay artisan Travis Dutton. Executive producers are speed knitter Ben Bolin and model plane mechanic Noel Brown.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.